What's it like to work in an office cubicle? We're going to take a look at how the movie Office Space makes it look and feel to work in a modern office. We're going to look at this movie shot by shot. It's going to be a lot of fun and you'll learn a lot. Coming up next. Here I am in the bottom right hand corner. Hello, this is Office Space. This is right after the opening credits, and we're going to go right into this modern office. I'm going to play this first 30 seconds for you, and I want you to think about how this movie is creating the look and the feel in particular of a modern office, especially what it's like to work in an office space filled with cubicles. What are the elements in this 30 seconds that are contributing to the feel of what it's like to be working in this office? All right, so let's look at the first 30 seconds and then we'll analyze this shot by shot. Here we go.
Just a moment. Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. 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 Just a moment. Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking.
Hello, Peter.
All right, that's it.
What's happening?
That's it. That's all I wanted to look at. We'll get into this little exchange here in just a minute. Let's look at this shot by shot. Going back to the beginning, here's the establishment shot as we go into the office. Actually, this character has just been shocked by touching his doorknob thanks to static electricity, so he's hesitating to open the doorknob. Now we're going to open the door into the office, and here's what we get. Let me turn down the volume. And you'll note a cut to this first shot. This is our first look at the office space as it is in this movie. What's the look and feel of this shot? Really great opening shot. This is at a high angle, looking down at this character. When I say high, I mean the camera is literally high above the ground, sort of looking down if you were to look at this area right here, or the character is going to walk from right to left here. This is also a combo of a close shot of the character who's out of focus, I think, in this shot, and then a long, in fact, extreme long shot of the entire office. In a way, this is an establishment shot giving us the whole geography of the office, but it's doing more work than that. Look at the feel of this. First, this very oppressive length of the office. It seems to go on forever, especially with this vertical line receding into the distance. And then you get the ceiling here, the oppressive fluorescent lights sort of compressing this horizon line here at the top where the ceiling meets the wall with this line right here, and it actually feels pretty cramped in this office even though we see a vast distance here. What's weird about this shot is it feels like there's a huge space but everything is cramped. I mean not just the cubicles, but sort of this space over here between the pillar and the wall, this space over here, pillar and the wall, the distance between the cubicle and the character, and then even this space right here. It's huge, but it's very tight. Second is the color scheme. Very drab. There's a few pops of color here, right here with the red, right here with the red. The hint of a plant, the hint of vegetation. Everything else is very bland, with everybody, looking like they fit in to the scene. In fact, the character here, his shirt is going to blend in perfectly with this sort of blue-gray cubicle look of the whole office. Wonderful opening shot. We're going to see him walk from right to left as he sort of scans this whole environment. And there he looks out over it, and we see him walk from right to left. His cubicle's right there. And then this next shot. Oh my goodness. So we just cut from that really tight long shot to now a bird's eye view. We're looking down on him, and this is going to feel extra cramped as he goes into his cubicle space. Now, you probably know this, that a filmmaker can make a small space look really large and a large space look really small. How do you make a cubicle look really, really small, even smaller than it normally is? This bird's eye view shot is exactly how you do that. Watch this. The character will go forward, he'll sit down, and the camera will move over. See this? Little pan here as he goes and sits down, and a wonderful final resting position of this shot. In fact, I love the composition of this shot. Why? Because one, three-dimensionally, we're way above him, bird's eye view. We feel ominous, Bird's eye view can mean terrifying, disorienting. It's a very unnatural position because it feels like we're going to fall down because we never looked straight down. And when we do, we might feel like we're afraid of heights. Second, look at how cramped this character is here with this space right here, the triangular space, just crushing him. Now, two-dimensionally, just think about this as the top and this is the bottom. Everything's sort of falling down on top of this character, especially the computer and the desk. That adds to the crushing feel of this cubicle space. So let's go forward here, and we're going to get a shot cut to his face, and he's feeling that his work day is repetitive. What he's doing is he's hearing his coworker in the other cubicle say the same thing over and over. He's doing the same thing over and over, and thus the office, it feels repetitive to be here. It feels very dull. Watch this. The camera is going to move over to show you what he's hearing. Pan over, and he turns, and the focus changes to this coworker over here, and this continues the cramped feel. Right here, she's very tightly spaced right here, although you're supposed to see her because the light's on her, the pops of color, her hair, and this poster over here. Now, what's going to happen? We change the focus, and then we're going to cut to what? The timepiece, the watch, and a close shot of the watch. Now, what does this mean? Probably you knew this already, but think about this in terms of the movie. It goes by so quickly, this shot only lasts 2 seconds, that your brain unconsciously registers all the meanings and associations with this wonderful shot. When you go into your office, and I think that's what this movie is doing, trying to get you to feel like what it's like to go to work in a dull place. How many times do you look at the clock a day? You ever been bored in a schoolroom or in an office and looked at the clock a lot? Exactly what's going on here. And you look at the watch, it says Monday, it says 9:12. This character is bored after being here 12 minutes on Monday. What's great about this shot as well is you get, his skin color over here, so the human aspect of him, but then this shirt color over here, sort of he's half human. He's managed by the clock, which dominates this whole frame. And then this side is the office color. So he's being swallowed up by the office. He's being dominated by both the office, the dullness of it, and by the watch. I'm saying that these elements of the frame sort of swallow up the skin and the hair over here, taking away his humanity. Once again, if you look at this space over here, the human part of him, it's cramped. It's being pushed over and in a tight space by all of these office-like elements over here. So we cut back to the character, and now we get his boss. I always like to pause and ask students, what's the relationship between the boss on the right and the worker on the left? If you've never seen this movie, this is a really interesting question because I think you can tell already what their relationship is 1 second into seeing them together in the same frame. Go ahead and make a guess. What do you think? Which elements in this frame tell us the relationship between these two characters? Well, something very obvious, I think, is their positioning. This character is over here on the right. He's out of focus. This is an over-the-shoulder shot, over his shoulder, looking down at Peter, the worker, right here. I might call this a high-angle shot, slightly high angle. We're at basically the level of his shoulder looking down at Peter, and look how small Peter is. In terms of his vertical level in the frame, he's right here, and the boss is right here, taking up this whole side of the frame. All of these elements mean that the boss is far more dominant and making this worker here feel really small. And obviously Peter, that's the name of the character, is tightly, framed here and placed in this small cubicle. He's being boxed in by not just these elements, but by his boss. Second is the clothing. Who wears a white collar with a colored shirt? I don't know about other places in the world, but in America, at least in the 1990s, I think this is still true today, upper class managers, Wall Street bankers, those sorts of people wear these kinds of shirts. Plus you've got suspenders on this guy, so both the suspenders and this shirt make him different than the ordinary worker here. Let's listen to this and hear their relationship and hear how this boss talks. We just made a guess as to their relationship. Let's see if we're right.
What's happening? We have sort of a problem here. Yeah, you apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry about that. I forgot.
Yeah. You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all TPS reports now before they go out. Did you see the memo about this?
Yeah. Yeah, I have the memo right here. I just, forgot. But, it's not shipping out till tomorrow, so there's no problem.
Yeah. If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great. And I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo. Okay?
Now this whole conversation ends with this shot here going back to the master shot, the over-the-shoulder shot, where we see the boss again on the right and Peter on the left. Most of this conversation was blocked with the boss in one shot and then cut to the worker in the other shot, and you don't see them together in the same frame. Was our guess right about the boss? Yeah, I think it was. Let's go back here and look at, here's the worker, and look at his face, obviously distressed at seeing his boss so early in the morning. And here's the boss, and now we see him from the front. We see him look pretty smug. He's got cufflinks and this ring very prominently featured. Maybe the glasses offset him a little, but the whole clothing choice makes him feel smug and arrogant and maybe a little smarmy and stupid when compared to this worker. I feel like this is a low-angle shot. We're looking up at him, making him look a little bit more powerful. And of course, then with this arm here, he's dominating the situation versus the other shot of the worker feeling lowly and pathetic. This right here. So we cut back and forth between the two of them as they talk, but you don't even have to hear what they say in order to sort of get the tenor of this conversation. The worker here being annoyed with his boss. Look, the worker has his back turned to the boss, the shoulders turned. He's basically 90 degrees away from us, and he's working really hard to turn his face towards the boss. He doesn't want to be near the boss, obviously. He doesn't like his boss. So anyway, we have this boss here. Now, if we go forward, it's just slightly, we'll see the boss not only exhibit sort of the smarminess as he talks, but there, the coffee mug right behind me, he's a company man. He's holding up the company mug. He's a man of the company. He represents the company. The worker obviously doesn't want to like this company or want to be in it. The boss represents the company and the oppression of working at this place called Initech. Well, there's so many other elements going on here. If you see anything and that I didn't talk about, please write me a comment. I really love this whole movie. Although this movie is sort of low budget, I think it's really well done by the director Mike Judge. So I think if you watch this movie, you'll see a lot of little details like these that I've pointed out, which add up to greater meaning and things you didn't notice the first or second time you watch this movie. You'll just see them if you start to notice all the little things we pointed out in this very scene. Thanks a lot for watching. If you like this shot-by-shot analysis, I have several more. Please feel free to click on them and watch them, enjoy them, and comment. I really appreciate you subscribing to my channel. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.